YouTube, I have on the phone with me Steph Jones, also known as Mo City Alien, and also known as Mr. Ordinary. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me, young man, sir.
Young man, sir, this takes me back to a couple days ago when I hung up on you. And I want to apologize for hanging up on you because I'm like, who is this young man? I don't know who's playing on my phone, but I had
Hey,
to hang.
I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, okay, I don't really have time for this. Click.
So I want to say thank you for wanting, not wanting, but thank you for doing this interview with me. And a lot of people may be asking who you are, so I just want to give them like a little brief overview of who you are. You were born in Houston, but you were raised in Missouri City, Texas, and you were, your mother. Oh, your mother was a local DJ, and you lost your father at the age of 12. And you were encouraged by your mom to get into physical activities where you later won a scholarship for track and field, and you went to LA. You went to LA on a scholarship.
Yes.
And what college did you go to?
Well, I went to Kansas State first, and but within a few months of me being in Kansas, I found my school in the eye of a tornado. I was like, I can't do this tornado thing anymore. So I transferred to Santa Monica College. It was a city college because all my units wouldn't transfer, and then I ended up at UCLA.
So how was that transition from being from Texas into LA?
Um, I've always been a very abstract little kid, so I just felt more comfortable in LA because I felt like people got me more. Because in Texas, it's like there's black, there's white, there's Hispanic, and occasional Asian, but everybody that's in between is like really really outcasted. So I've been outcasted since I was in kindergarten, and I see the same things as everybody, but my viewpoints and the way the way I release it is like a whole different world. So I guess people just didn't get it, and a lot of them still don't get it. But I'm more accepted in LA where there's more abstract and people like that of that nature here.
Okay. So now a coworker suggested that you should model, and you were later assigned to four models, causing you to drop out of college to do all kinds of national campaigns. What was that experience like?
Well, that's not why I dropped out of college. I dropped out of college. I hate it. I honestly, anybody listening, I don't encourage you to take the route that I took because everybody, has their own route. I dropped out of college because I hated school. I hated being in a desk and in a class with no windows. I just felt so closed, and I really couldn't get the best out of what I was trying to learn being in class. And the only reason why I was in school was because I was running track.
Mm.
And once I got tired of track, because I ran track year round since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
Plus, my mother was a track coach as well. So it was just track, 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 track. And then finally I got tired of track, and then I just left school. And the thing that started it off was my grandmother. She graduated from UCLA, and when I was leaving, she was like, well, you need to come back home with your family and all this stuff. I was like, nah, Big Mama, I'm going to stay out here. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, no, you need to come home. You can't make it. You can't make it in LA. It'll eat you up. And then I was like, Big Mama, you trying to say that I can't make it in LA by myself? She said, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. So, truthfully, my Big Mama was my first hater. But it was hater out of love. But I'm one of those people that when my back's against the wall, I really, really, really perform well. So that she lit the fire that started this whole thing. I was like, okay, I'm about to show you, Big Mama. Yeah, you can tell me I can't make it somewhere. So that's pretty much what started everything off.
So how was her reaction today?
Baby, I see you in the magazine. Baby, I heard your song. baby, can you come sing in my church? Like it's changed a lot, but she still watch your company. Make sure you go to church. I cannot have a conversation without her. Are you watching your company? Like she's like that. If I talk to her 5 times in one day, watch your company.
So obviously, I've heard a lot about LA, and when I think of LA, I just think it's just a bad place. And I think I've told you that before. Like, I just think it's a bunch of phony people there. So I guess I have to experience it for myself to know what it's like out there.
You really do have to experience it for yourself, because the thing I love about LA is that there's so much out here, and the people that told you that this is such a phony place, they surround themselves around the environment that they hate the most. Like really, I don't club every night. That's where all the people that whoever, and your sources, and they tell you, they're all hanging around with that same crowd. And that's what drives people to that. And you got to understand, LA, that's a land of actors and everything. So naturally, people, like in their subconscious, they're acting. But there is a pocket of people that's not even in there. I'm kind of in between, because I'm like a socialite. I just love people in general, no matter where you're from, with your races. I just love to learn people. So, and the brilliant thing about LA is, if I wanted to, I could go snowboarding in Big Bear Mountain, drive an hour and a half away, and then go to Venice Beach and go body surfing or something like that. And you can do that all the same day. You can't do that nowhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. And I love Bob Mountain. I go hiking, and it's just it's very breathtaking for me. It is what you make it. If you want it to be so fake, yeah, you can go and hang out in Ladue and go to Guys and Dolls and do all of that stuff every night of the week, and you're gonna be around the environment that you talk about the most.
Okay, now working for 4Models, is that how you got into doing music videos as a model?
Yes. The very first music video I did, I was like 16 years old. I did the Destiny's Child Jumpin' video.
And what was it like being on the set and in that video?
It was cool at first, but Beyonce's bodyguard at the time, that dude, man, he was definitely on one, because he was like, me and Beyonce, we had a dancing scene. And he would like come up to me, he'd be like, "Hey man, keep this shit clean, homeboy." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's actually dancing on me. He's like, "I keep that," and I really felt like I was being bullied. Wow. And I couldn't really do anything, so that made me feel uncomfortable. But it was cool, because the video came out dope, and I became that guy in the video.
And what other music videos have you been in?
I did the Joe featuring Mystical, the Stutter remix. I was that guy in the video, kissing up on the girl. And then I did the Faith Evans I Love You video, where I was that guy. It was just me and Faith, me kissing on her. And then I did, there's this one girl, I think she's from St. Louis. Her name is Toya. It was the I Do video. And I was doing a bunch of videos, man. And commercials and campaigns and all kind of stuff.
Now, do you see yourself going back into doing music videos, or you want to do it for yourself, like your own music videos?
I'm definitely going to do music videos for myself. But if it's a hot video, and I know that it's going to be seen everywhere, and I can be that guy. See, the thing about it is, I actually have a name, regardless of some people be like, "Oh, he's a Z-list celebrity." I still have celebrity status. So when people see me, they're like, "Oh, that's Steph Jones." So now I'm not just that guy. I'm Steph Jones. So if they see me in a video and it's a real hot video and it's a hot artist, it'll make sense, because that's publicity for me.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you about Paris. You were arrested in Paris for being guilty by association. Is that correct?
pretty much I was arrested for not snitching on somebody. Because I was hanging out with some drug dealers and some people that did some other stuff that were based out of LA. They weren't my friends, but when I was in France by myself on a shoot for modeling, I recognized some people at the club that I knew from LA. We never hung out, but being in an unfamiliar, being in an unfamiliar place and you don't speak the language, you naturally be like, yo, man, what up? Ain't you from LA? Whatever. So I was hanging out with them for like a week, and, I came back to LA, and then I went back like a month later, and a month and a half later, and then they got me off the plane. They were like, well, we need you to tell us this name, this name, this name. It was like 9 people. They all had like nicknames. And they were like, if you don't tell us, you're going to jail. But these are the type of people that you can snitch on. So I was, I evaluated my life and love it and my family. So I was like, you know what, it's not worth it. So I didn't say anything. So they threw me in jail, prison.
All right. So you were thrown into jail. You were never charged or never sentenced, right?
No, I was in there for a whole year before I got sentenced.
Wow. So what was going through your head while you were in there?
Well, in the beginning, I was kind of in the twilight zone because I was like, man, my life is over. I don't know what to do. I was watching the clock. You know what happens when you watch the clock? Like, time goes by
slow.
It's like slow motion. And I was doing that. And then finally, man, I had a wake-up call, and I was like, man, I got to figure out some type of plan just to get me by. And so finally, I enrolled in French classes. I started reading books. In the course of 25 months, I read 275 books.
Wow.
And, I wrote my first song there. I wrote Mr. Ordinary in there. I wrote Melody the Snap Tune. I wrote a lot of songs in there. And I had never recorded a song. So just everything. That's why I can do a lot of stuff with my music by myself now, is because I literally learned the hard way. I was making all these beats, the bass line, the hi-hat, the harmonies, everything, all in my head, just so I can get this song out. And the reason why my song, a lot of my songs have a lot of melodies, in prison, I didn't have no music. So the only thing that could keep my attention going was melodies. That's why, my song, Melody is Snap To, we gotta start with love between ourselves, then we can love one another. Don't point the finger at someone else, 'cause it's up to you to discover that the truth alone can set you free, so you must pull back the covers. The world is dressed in black and white, and the music is the color. But all of that I thought of, and it was just all melody driven, and I had the bass in my head, and that's how I did a lot of my songs.
Now I got a question about that song. Why didn't you put that song on the light tape?
Because I didn't have the right mix, and I couldn't get in touch with the people in time. And I had to give myself a deadline because I've been doing this music thing since 2006. And my fans have held on for so long, and I never gave them anything but T-shirts. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait any longer. Like, they need something real. They need something of substance in their lives. And, I need to give them my heart. And I don't want to charge. I don't want to charge. They stayed with me this long. And this doesn't happen with any artist. I've done my research. This doesn't happen. You know? So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to charge them. I just want them to have this music to be able to do, make babies with, dance with, cry with, rekindle an old friendship and relationship with. I wanted them to have this music in their lives. And, And it wasn't until somebody hit me, a friend hit me on MySpace, and she was like, Steph, I'm writing to you not as a fan or as a groupie, but my little brother, he was on his deathbed, and he wasn't talking. The only thing he was doing was singing your song, Mr. Ordinary, and that's the only thing that was keeping him alive. And up until his last breath, he was singing your song, Mr. Ordinary.
Wow.
So thank you for being there when you didn't even know you were needed. I read this message and immediately tears flew out of my face. I was like, oh my goodness, this is what it's about. It's the power of music. It's not about the dollar of the music. The money will come, you know. And so that's when I was like, it has to come from the heart and soul. I don't care how it comes out, but it has to come from the heart and soul. And so that's when I started just doing everything, though. But it wasn't just the music. It was the way I speak, the way I interact with people. It has to come from a place of substance, you know. And that's my take on life. Just that simple message helped me to understand why I was put on this earth, to communicate with others, to let them know that it's okay to be themselves wherever you come from, whatever your lifestyle is. At the end of the day, real recognizes real. And it was just that message that it unlocked something inside of my soul. And I was like, I have to get this message out. And even on the small scale that I'm on, I'm touching so many lives, and I'm impressing so many people. And as my celebrity grows, because like I tell everybody, I am a visual artist. You have to see me. Once you see me, you get it because you know that it's real. So as my celebrity grows, there's going to be a lot of changes in the music industry. And yes, it can start with me, but it's going to unlock a lot of things in people's subconscious.
Now I have my next question is about you being signed with Disturbing the Peace Records.
Right.
How did that come about, and why did you end up leaving the label?
My brother, comedian D-Ray Davis, he hosts the LA Improv every Monday night. And for a long while, instead of him putting up a comedian, because he puts up comedians, they would go up for like 10 minutes or whatnot, he would put me up. And I would just sing a cappella. Well, Ludacris was in the house that night, and he was like, I really like your voice. Do you have any music? I had two little dusty-ass songs. And I had two songs, and, you know, I swore he was going to call me back. I was like, yeah, man, Luda said he liked my voice. Yeah, and then I never heard back from him. And I swear, the little inner devil child or the mini Incredible Hulk in me was like, man, F that ninja. I was like, you ain't going to call me back? You ain't going to call me back? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was like, all right, cool. So I just started recording songs. I was recording. I had like 22 songs. And next time I saw him, he was like, yeah, man, I like what I heard last time. I need to hear more. I was like, well, here go 2 CDs. It's 22 songs. I just had an 8-page spread come out in this magazine. Crazy. And I had a whole bunch of stuff for him. He was like, dang, you really been working. I was like, yeah. And then it literally led from that to one meeting to another meeting to a meeting with L.A. Reid.
Wow.
And L.A. Reid was just like, I love this. Yes, yes, yes. And the reason why they signed me was because I was so different. My style was different. And in the end, I felt it wasn't anything they did. I just felt myself changing as an artist in order to fit a certain type of brand, and I wasn't comfortable with that. I'm not a puppet artist, so you can't really put strings over my head and say do this and do that because it's not going to work. And that's not why my fans rock with me. They rock with me because I think for myself, and I allow and I show people that it's okay for them to think for themselves. And I would be going against what I tell my friends if I was to I felt if I was to stay at the label and turn into a different artist. So I requested a release. I was never dropped from DPP. I requested a release, and I never reshopped my deal because I wanted to work on, artist development, secure a publishing deal, which I did with Cobalt, and, write for other artists and work on some other things. So now that certain labels are coming at me, they're like, wow, you did all this yourself? I'm like, yeah.
So who have you written songs for?
I worked with I worked with Blake Lewis from American Idol. I've worked with Jordan Sparks. I did 3 songs because I write rap. I write raps also, and I co-write with rappers, and I ghostwrite. But I actually got my credit on Chingy's last album. I wrote 3 songs on there. I've worked with Jesse McCartney. I've worked with Prima J. That's on Interscope Records. I've worked with Paula Bienda, Ryan Tedder from One Republic, and the list is growing.
So if you could write for any big artist right now, who would that be and why?
I would like not to write for, but to write with Chris Martin from Coldplay and John Mayer. They are such prolific writers, and when I hear their stuff, I hear my influences. I'm influenced by them, and when I hear their stuff, I'm like, I could work something like that. And I'm like, it would be really, really, really cool to work with those artists. I'd love to work with Andre 3000. I'd love to work with Kanye West. I love to work with people who don't hold any type of barriers on their artistry. Free thinkers, open-minded people.
Now, do you ever see yourself re-signing with a major label?
Actually, I do, but it has to make sense, though. If you can't do more for me than what I can do for myself, and I can do a lot for myself. Like, I can do more than a lot of artists that are signed to a major that have like $300,000 and $400,000 budgets, and I can do all of that with no budget. So it just has to make sense, and you have to be able to see my vision and add another star on the same plane, and then they just have to get it. And it's not so much the label, it's the person who signs me. It's that A&R. If he's so excited about me and he gets it, then that's the label that I'll rock with.
Okay, so pretty much you want more like creative freedom over your project?
Well, my project will pretty much already be done. They just have to get it and know what to do with it.
Okay. Because, there's a lot of artists that sign with these big labels and they don't do anything for them. How do you feel about the change in the music industry?
I mean, it's always changing, and the way I see it is like this. If you're an artist and you don't know how to change with times, you are not going to get anywhere. So if you constantly complain about how it used to be, you're going to be stuck. Just like my grandmother when we gave her a cell phone. Like, she's like, what the hell is this? It was a cell phone. She had a cell phone for 3 years. Ain't made one text, nothing, So she still got the little circle phone, like the little that one old school phone. So it's like you have to be able to change with time. And if you want to be such a different artist, you can't be too stubborn to not add elements of what's going on right now. So you have to have the ear of your ultimate goal is to get the ear of everybody. So even though I haven't reached that plateau yet, I'm definitely on my way, and I can tell by the reaction of the live tape.
Now, speaking of the life tape, how long did it take you to create that?
Honestly, man, those songs, with the exception of like two or three songs, those songs in the live tape are 3 years old. That's like my old material. You know, a lot of people, and it's cool because I don't write songs for now, like all this. It's cool for right now. I literally wrote those songs like three years ago, and people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is the new," and people are just like loving it. I'm like, "Wow, wait till you actually hear my new stuff." And so it wasn't something that I had to rush to get off to finish, because the song's been there. I was just like, you know what, how do I just make it all make sense? So I just called it Gravity and be like, this is my soul and I'm gonna give it to y'all. Here you go.
So has any music artist sent you any feedback about your live tape?
Any music artists?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, man. There's been a lot of people that reached out. There's been a lot of magazines. People, you know, there's some people who called my phone. I don't even know who had my number. You know, they're like, we'd love to do a feature in our magazine for your life tape. I was like, how'd you get my number?
So if you could collaborate, I know you said you wanted to write with, but if you could collaborate with any artist besides Chris Martin and John Mayer, who would it be and why?
I really would love to collaborate with Amy Winehouse once she gets her stuff together. Once she gets her stuff together, bless her heart, she's just one of those people who literally writes her life. It's not a fabrication. She's not doing a record for now. Like I would love to work with her. I would love to work with Jasmine Sullivan, which is a good friend of mine. I would love to work with Pharrell. I would love to let's see. I'd love to do something with Beyonce, Lady Gaga.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, I would really, and it would be dope. It wouldn't be on no bill stuff. Like it would be actually really dope. I already know it.
Okay, so the question that everybody wants to know is, how long have you been dating Jordan Sparks?